Okay, let's do it. Okay. So since we have very sufficient time of 25 minutes, so I may tell you more about my personal life. I actually have a girlfriend in my university, in the Polytechnic University. And I always hang out with her throughout the whole year of our relationship. And I always go to different places in Hong Kong. But actually, it's quite boring when I'm traveling around in Hong Kong. There's only a few places to hang out, the Peak, shopping malls, nothing else. and that's why we always go into shopping malls, especially the K11. Why the K11? Because for two reasons. First, it's very close to the Polytechnic University, and I always go there. And the second part is the major point, is that because we love the decoration and the infrastructure of the K11, because it's very artistic. But the main problem is that we never buy anything from the K11. So this raises a very interesting thing, is that although the new world development always try to tap into the young adults in Hong Kong and mainland China, which are defined as the most emerging purchasing power in these two markets. They actually have some, the efficiency of them to tap into the heart of these young adults are not really good enough. They do a lot of branding, but actually the physical layout, the physical characteristic of their product, regarding the residential area, regarding residential buildings, and regarding the commercials like shopping malls, are actually not tapping into the young adults' hearts. And so today we are here we are the team from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. I'm Jason, Kevi, Kiki, and William. And we are here to bring you the rematch and reach out strategy. So why we need to rematch is that we would like to understand about the young adults. What are their interests? What are they good at? What are they love? And then we want to reposition our products from the new world development. For example, residential area, how we can modify the residential area to create better value to these young adults. And also for the commercial one, the shopping malls, how the shopping malls can actually do better in order to tap into the young adults market. And second of all, after we have built the blocks for these products that the New World Development currently have, we want to bring this out to the young adults in Hong Kong and in mainland China through online channels and offline channels. Okay, so, but to explain why we will have this strategy, maybe let us take a step back and look into the big picture. What is the value proposition and core competence of New World Development right now? First of all, they have a very strong cross-branding strategy. And second of all, they're very good regarding the CRM with the B2B partnership. For example, the retailers and also the investors, etc. They have actually given a lot of discount for them to regarding when they are joining the New World Membership Club. And also, they are very good when it comes to the art into the landscape. This is a brand new idea for them to merge together the artistic elements and to the financial elements. So they have into the commercial elements. So they can build the K11, and this can actually retain a lot of top retailers and those luxury retailers. And also the K11 is actually helping out regarding to bring a new opportunity, a new experimental opportunity for the new world development. So after we look into core competence, why a company with such a strong portfolio will still have key issues? Well, we may look into the key issues. First of all, of course, there's a very negative public attitude towards the new world development. So because I'm a graduate student, and when I try to think whether what company we want to join, I never try to consider new world development, because I'm more appealing to those Swire or those quite with a strong branding. And that's why we can say the negative is quite negative. And also, the second part is that they have restricted land availability in Hong Kong from the government. And that's why it will be very costly regarding our residential buildings. And third of all, it's about the mismatch of the consumer taste. This is very important because we're trying to tap into the young adults, which are the emerging power of purchasing in the economy, right? But then, the new world development, their product is not tapping into the heart of the young adults. And fourth of all, they have a very diverse branding. And this leads to a very unclear value proposition for the young adult to understand what value they can tap into them regarding purchasing the residential apartments or going to shopping malls. And that's why what is the key issues influencing for the strategic capacity? So we may first look into this in the market segmentation area. So currently, the new world development have a very strong capacity when it comes to the Hong Kong. They have the largest land reserved for development. They have 55% of urban areas that can actually be immediately developed. But the problem is that there's a lack of branding and public image because the image is quite negative, especially in recent years when they are having a lot of conflicts happening in Hong Kong. And also, the young adults that they are trying to tap into, they cannot see the value of the residential built apartments because they are more valuing on what actually fits me. Because for the young adults in these days, they're more valuing on their personal lifestyle. And when they're purchasing the apartments or when they're going to shopping mall, they value more about how can these things actually fit to my personal lifestyle. And this is also happening currently in China. In the China market, there's a high of land supply, very sufficient land supply, and there's an emerging of second-tier and third-tier housing demand from those young couples that they are living in the second-tier and third-tier. And they also think that what they value most regarding purchasing is that if the product really fits to their lifestyle. And that's why what we found, and also when we look into the product development, or the product side, actually you can see that from the GE matrix. Although the capacity or the business unit capacity strength is very strong for new world development because they have expertise in this aspect and they have experience and dominance in the Hong Kong market. But actually they are not getting the young adults' attractiveness because the young adults may think that the buildings or the apartment are too costly, or maybe they dislike the branding of the new world development. And so, to sum up, we can see that there are two main key issues. After we look into the key issues, what is influence into the strategic capacity, and these two key issues is that, first of all, they have a very lack of attractiveness of the current product in order to tap into the young adult's heart. And we want to do this, and we want to utilize our rematch strategy to actually match back the needs between the new world development products with the demand in the market. And also for the negative branding image and more focused image, we want to actually utilize our reach out strategy. After we build up the blocks, we actually want to promote out to the public, to tell the public that we're actually matching your needs and we want you to buy our products. So let's pass the time to Kathy to deliver.
Okay, thank you. So now first come our rematch strategy. So we will do this by two ways. First, the commercial repositioning. What we want to do is to reposition the products provided in the shopping malls. And then it is residential retargeting. We want to retargeting those young adults in our residential buildings. So first, the commercial repositioning. Why we want to do this? Because you see, in both Hong Kong and mainland China, there's a new trend that is called the shop as entertainment. The customer likes to go to the shopping mall but buy no things. Why would this trend emerge? Because so for those shopping mall of the new world development, so like K11, so they provided those high-end products all through their high-end retail shops, but it is actually mismatched with their target customers. So who are they? Actually, they are those young adults with art sense. But actually, they just think that K11 it is like an art museum, but the price is really high for them to afford. So what we want to do is to the repositioning the products. How to do? We will just acquire more art products with more innovation, but maybe a middle to low end of products. For example, those new branding products for the customers which can afford of, but still with high art value. So this is a repositioning of the commercial part. And then it comes to the residential retargeting. What we want to target in both Hong Kong and mainland market is those young couples, both the middle class or the high class. So first, let us look at the Hong Kong market. So why? Let us come to the Hong Kong market. So why we just like to target those young couples? Because we see that there is a group called the Sea Turtles, which was just going back to Hong Kong mainland just after the foreign countries' education, and they cannot afford the first home, actually. There are two reasons. The first is the high price of the Hong Kong prosperities, but it's really because of high expectations of their first home. So all of us just want to live in those high-end communities like their first place. They just not like those old communities which was built in the last centuries. So these two reasons can cause those trend. So the property developers are just act as the evil, cheating, and greedy devils for them. So cause the bad image of these prosperity developers. So how we would like to do this? So we want to build this art residential community. So what is this? So maybe this is only an individual building, but with less infrastructure, just like a swimming pool, and without those squares, without those gardens. And we focus on some small apartment, maybe less than 40 square meters, and located mainly in the new territories. So because we know that the new world developments has most land in these areas. So, but how it was different from the traditional high-end communities, because it is not actually the real high-end communities. We want to add more artisans into this new concept art residential communities. So maybe the room shape can be designed by those young designers, and the wall can be painted by those designers. The public place can be just painted, designed by those young designers with high art value. And we want to add more customer engagement. So maybe the customer can paint the walls by themselves, or can just design the public area by themselves. So what we want to build is those low cost but new concept community, which was just looks like the high-end communities, but with low cost. So, and then we came to the mainland China. So in the mainland China, we still want to build the concept of this new, new concept art community. And the location is mainly the 2- and 3-tier cities, because we know that it was the highly emerging of buying powers of this middle class in those 2- and 3-tier cities, young adults. So, but what it was different from those art communities in Hong Kong. It's actually the whole community, and with more infrastructures like the gardens, like swimming pool or squares, because the land price is relatively low. And we still want to add more customer engagement. Even from the designing process, we want the more customer engagement for them to design the public areas by themselves to fulfill their art requirements in their own living place. And then we still just want to hold some art campaigns temporarily in those new art concept communities. For example, in the public area, some just art shows. So by the commercial repositioning and the residential retargeting, we really want to do the rebranding to build the brand image. And in the Hong Kong, we want the new world development to hold more social responsibility, because they can solve the living problem of these young couples. And then we want to just bring the modern and elegant concept of the new world development to the customers. Thank you.
Rematch and reach out strategy. Then what is our reach out strategy? This is to reach out to customers and to rebuild our brand image. There are two components. First is online and second is offline. With online establishments, we want to catch the attention of customers and increase the customer engagement. With offline improvement, we want to strengthen the experience of customers and also sustain customer loyalty. Actually, I'm a very crazy shopper, and I'm shopping a lot in Hong Kong. But I do not always go to physical stores before I go to shopping, because it's a kind of waste of time. So that before I go to the physical stores, I always go through online to see what is offering in this season, and also to see whether there's any discounts. So that insufficient online exposure is definitely a weakness to this new world development company, and also its shopping malls offered by this company. So that we need more access points and more notification to customers. We know that K11 and other shopping malls established by this company is very special compared to other shopping malls, because it combines both art and commercial. So how can we make the online experience more special and engaging? There is 3 propositions. Theme-based web page, customer design involvement, and social media access points. Then how can we do this? First, we recommend to establish the theme-based webpage. That is, every month we will change the theme of our webpage to a particular art or history themes to the localized community. And also, we will introduce some art games so that the customers could play on these games on the webpage, so that they will feel very fun and very interesting engaging in this kind of webpage display. And also, we want the customers' design published on our webpage. For example, the accessory designed by themselves or the paintings painted by themselves, so that this is to increase the customer engagement. So you may ask, after I have established the web page, how can customers know about our web page? We want to establish more social media access points. For example, first is print the QR code on the K11 packed bag so that customers could, after scan this QR code, they could know more about through the WeChat or Weibo. And also we will establish our Facebook so that customers could like our web page. Actually, the online experience establishment is to improve the offline experience of customers. And how can we improve the offline customer experience? There are two components. First is to collaborate with the museums, and second is to offer the shopping mall membership cards. So actually, you know that there are a lot of art and history stories in the localized community, both in Hong Kong and mainland China. So that we want to collaborate with these museums to, first of all, they could display the local art and history on this shopping mall so that the customer could know more about the local community and art, the history. And also on this display, we will offer some very special products that is very special to the art and history that the museum is offered, so that customer could walking by and also purchase something. And second is to introduce the shopping mall membership cards. So you may ask, why introduce this kind of membership card? Actually, currently, New World Development only offers the B2B membership cards to the public. But we also want to introduce this shopping mall membership cards so that we can engage more customers and increase customer experience. For example, the K11 membership cards. So that with these membership cards, customers could receive more subscription. For example, the subscription of the latest promotion info. Maybe with this subscription, I could just receive the information and go to the physical stores to buy my favorite products. And second, they can also receive the art events and also to notify the web theme. And that is our rematch and reach out strategy.
Okay, thank you, Kiki. With all these amazing implications and solutions of our strategies, we also have some risks to concern about. The first is about the transition risk. Because, for the commercial part of our business line, we want to change our target markets from the high-end customer to some mid-end and mid-class, like young adults. So there may be some transition risk, namely the confusing of our brand image. So in order to mitigate this risk, we want to keep communication channels open to all young adults and to have more communication with them to know what they really want and what trend we will want to trend to. And also, we want to have intense promotion, like our colleague mentioned. We want to use more social media and use our own websites to promote this new trend. And the second risk is about the customer awareness of our new concept residential community. And because it is relatively a new thing in Hong Kong, and not that many people will used to this. So in order to mitigate this risk of customer awareness, we want to, first of all, make full use of our brand image. We have a very strong brand image in Hong Kong because we are a giant in this industry. So they should have enough confidence for us. And also, we should do some content marketing. What is content marketing? We can also set some experience room or experience areas in the business streets so that when they, out of work and they can come into this experience area and they can have a taste of what this new concept room is. And I think this is also can attract attractive for them. And the third risk is about the about financial risk, and especially the liquidity problem. Because if you want to invest a lot of money into this new concept residential community, there may be some cash flow problem with our company. So in order to mitigate this risk, we want to make use of our brand image first, and we can have enough bargaining power with the banks so that we can choose some debt financing or SEO. I think these are very good options. And the next part is about the financial analysis. For the revenue part, we also have two main business streams. So this revenue comes from the residential property and commercial property. But there's a problem need to be concerned about, because according to the financial statements of New World Development, we can see in 2009, there is a very sharp decline in the profit, and it is because the financial crisis, right? So we can see the operation of our company, of the company, is very, very, very much influenced by the big economic environment. So this is a problem that we need to concern about. And also, you can see the EPS, earning per share, is also decreased from 2.59 to 0.55. And by analyzing the cause of it, we can see the main cause is the change in the fair value of investment properties. And for the second part is about the cost. I divided into two parts, namely the upfront cost and ongoing cost. For the upfront cost, because we want to invest more in the new resident property, so this is a direct force for us at this stage. And also, we want to do a lot of marketing research to know what the customers want and what's the trend of the market, so that we can lay a solid foundation for our future development in Hong Kong. And for the ongoing cost, we'll use a lot of money for the promotion and also customer relationship management, and also the operating. So these are the continuous costs for our business. And finally, let's have a look at our implementation and the conclusion. Today, we present the development strategy for New World Development. And our strategy is rematch and reach out. For the first strategy, rematch, we want to divide it into two parts, namely the commercial repositioning and residential retargeting. In the commercial repositioning, we want to change our target markets to more to focus on the young adults, which have more art sense and innovative. And for the residential retargeting, we want to change our current target markets also to the young targets, and also some students from the overseas, and so that we can build our new concept residence, which is relatively attractive for them. And for the reach out part, because we just think that just to rematch these customers not enough, because after this, we want to promote this to our customer. We want to let our customers know what it is and why they should choose it. So we want to use our reach out strategy. We'll use our online and offline promotion strategies. For the online, we use the theme-based web page and customer design involvement and social media access points, just as my colleague mentioned. And for the offline, we cooperate with the museum, and also we create our shopping mall membership system to attract more customers. And let's have Jason to have a wrap up.
Okay, so here I may also add some personal subjective comments. So if next time when the new development, a new world development actually focus a lot onto the rematch to bring more fun, bring more arts into their product they currently have, and if they are really good regarding the reach out strategy to get more access point to our daily life. Like I can know you about your strategy, your branding through the online channels and offline channels, and I also will have that K11 cart. I definitely will purchase something from the K11 shopping mall, and I'm sure that I will be a big fan of the new world development. So today is our end of presentation, and thank you all for the participation. Thank you.
So, thank you for that very, very insightful and very energetic presentation. And I like the old school too. The transparency works very well. I guess if I may kick off with a question, and I'm sure my fellow judges also have their own question. I guess my first question is just in terms of and you touched on this in your presentation, is in the implementation schedule. You know, obviously with any big transformational projects, you're trying to do a lot of things, and I think one of the things that you do need to focus on is prioritization and thinking about, you know, taking which steps first. So I guess, you know, one of my question is, you know, how would you think about prioritizing all of your different initiatives? And many of them are very, you know, very interesting and certainly very creative. That's my first question. And then my second question has to do with just in terms of communication. And it has to do with communication internally with your staff members, as well as communication to external constituents like your shareholders, your bondholders, etc. So, you know, how would you think the communication strategy should be for the senior management in terms of making sure that as the organization undergoes some fairly significant changes, you're not confusing people, but you're sending a very clear message on, you know, what you want to achieve?
Okay, it's really an interesting question, and let me ask you a first question. Can the screen shows our timeline? Okay. And for the rematch strategy, especially for the commercial repositioning, because right now at this stage we will not open another new K11 in Hong Kong, because we know we already have one in Shanghai, and we will open one in Beijing in 2017. So we think it's enough at this stage, and we just want to make some change in the current K11 in Hong Kong. So it's not a very long-term investment. It's just like we make change now. And for the residential retargeting, we will first to focus on the Hong Kong, because according to the case, we have a lot of residential land in Hong Kong, so that we think we can use that land at first and to have a test of why this new concept residence community is successful or not. If the market gives a very positive response to us, then maybe we can promote this model to mainland China, because we have very great market in second tier or third tier cities in mainland China. So if this is successful, we can definitely promote that to mainland China. And for the reach out strategy, namely the online and offline, we think these are promotion strategies, and this should be, to be done at the same time. It's not like a priority of the offline and the online. We should do them at the same time. So I think that's my answer for the first question.
Okay, as for the second page question, maybe let me pick it up. So of course, we have a very ambitious change. And for this change to make it happen internally, the intangible stuff and the tangible stuff have to make changes internally for our company. For example, talent management. Because currently when I listen to all my friends, they're going to the new world development interview processing, we think that actually what the new world development currently recruiting are those talents who are more conservative. And also they are more traditional. And they look into their CVs, they look into their CE result, A-level result. But we think that is that we actually want to change the talent structure in the company. We need more people who can bring the creativity and the innovative ideas, exciting ideas into the company. So the first thing I think that is to change the inputs of our talent. The second thing that we need to change is the culture within the new world development. It's very crucial because in order for us to give the customer the image that we are providing are more fun and more artistic and more innovative, energetic, this kind of image. Actually, the internal culture and the internal infrastructure have to make changes from the top to down. And that's why these will be a very long-term changes. But we think that it's worth it because what we're targeting right now is the emerging young adults, and they will be the emerging purchasing power in the near future. And they are more focusing on lifestyle, and they are more focusing on the cultural experience and the fun artistic stuffs, which are different from the early generation of the Hong Kong people, which are more focusing on the practical usage of these buildings. As for the external changes, what we think that is that in order to build up the alignment of our branding regarding our different stakeholders, we need to have a good communication regarding our alignment and also what contents, what thing we are trying to deliver, what message we are trying to reach out to the end users. How we do so is that we can actually utilize our membership, to B2C membership, through delivering, having a content marketing team within our company to actually monitor and actually to create this kind of content to introduce to the public with a fairly variable and also very good creative content to deliver to the public. That's why this is, I think, the external part and the internal part, the changes that we will be in order to pursue for this ambitious and amazing plan that we have.
Could I ask you 3 questions and maybe answer them fairly shortly because other people want to ask questions as well, all right? First of all, in your residential model, there was no mention of rental housing. And as we all know, affordability is a big issue in Hong Kong. Getting on the ladder is virtually impossible. Would it not be an option to include some rental housing in your mix so that people could rent and then once they've saved, they could buy over time? So just have you thought of that as an option? Secondly, you didn't mention technology at all in your presentation. And technology is going to drive change. And we're talking a lot today about smart communities. One way of differentiating potentially could be to introduce sustainable and smart features into the design. Then finally, just on your retail targeting, young people are fine, but they're only one sector of the community, and they're not necessarily spenders either. I think you'd be better creating an overall family experience so that the whole family go there and the whole family find a day of enjoyment in K11. But just quickly respond to those.
So first, please let me answer the first question. So in this stage, what we want to solve, so we will consider the rent house. Maybe I think it is a quite good idea. So we will consider the rental still in our strategy. But in this stage, we will mainly focus on the problem that the young adult cannot afford their own house because they're just willing to afford their own house. So what we want to provide is those new concepts apartment which was with comparatively low price because, for example, we can just use some renewable old, when we just can renew some old buildings or decoration some old buildings and turn them into some low high-end but actually low-cost community. So so they can afford us to own their own house, but in the same time, I think we will still consider some rent strategies. Thank you.
And regarding the second technology part, I think that actually with this online establishment that is introduced the e-commerce kind of philosophy, actually we have included the technology part because that if we want to introduce the game, some art games, we need some technology experts to design these games for us, and also to with this every month we change the web page and also change the structure or some other thing that we in regards to the web page, so that we need to. This is also kind of the technology that we target at.
I'm very sorry that we cannot catch up with your last question. Could you please ask it again?
Your target market for the retail was young people. Mm-hmm. That's only one part of the market, if you like. Most shopping centre developers will be looking to create an overall family attraction to pull everybody in, not just one segment of the community.
Okay, so when we look into the market demographic in the Hong Kong industry, we can actually see that actually there's an emerging power of the young adults. Of course, we also have families and other parties in the market segmentation, but actually what we're trying to do is to do a focused strategy. We focus more about tapping into the young adults market because we think that this is a have a more purchasing power, and in long run, this may be the focus on those top retailers these top retailers are cooperating with us, and we also want to bring the bargaining power to them to let them benefit from what we are trying to target on, which is the young adults. Yeah.
Okay, I just have one point to add. Is it okay? Because at this case, we saw that there is a very big conflict between the young people in Hong Kong and some developers in Hong Kong. Because most of the young people think that they have not enough money to buy the house, buy the first house. So this is also a very serious social problem in the society. And we think as a very responsible company like New World Limited, we also have the responsibility to solve the social problems, and so that we have this solution to this, and we just provide some small houses. It's just less than 40 meters, and maybe it's more suitable than the young people, and we create some some arts area and some creativity experience for them, so this can attract them also. So we think this is quite a good solution for both the house problem and the social problem. Thank you very much.
Maybe I'll just clarify a little bit. Sorry to tell you that I'm from New World, and I'm on the talent development role. So in some sense, I really don't disagree with you that you said we just talent. I mean, the talents are conservative. We don't retarget that, okay? So maybe your friends have cheated you quite a lot in that sense. So anyway, maybe I ask you, Jason, you seem to have a very negative image about New World in some sense. I mean, very fresh of your paragraph, okay? Can you tell me what exactly you're thinking of New World is so bad in your eyes or in your views? Okay, give me some example on that one. And my second question is on your marketing part, how you segmentize people, okay? I think maybe I don't know, maybe some of you may have bought some flats already, or maybe you don't have experience with that, okay? Do you ever know who actually, buy flats, who actually pay for it? If we are going to, to segment our position ourselves into the lower and the middle part, in that case, it's a brand shift. We're trying to be a high brand, right? But you're telling me that we should be going to lower brand. So in that case, all the New World stuff, including, say, the convention center, the New World bus, all the construction, all the other activities, including all the hotels, we're going to lower rank, lower brand. How to address that question? Thank you.
Okay, so first let me talk about my personal things, because I'm a personal thing onto the New World development. So I think it's more about, not because of my own thoughts, because it's about the external environment, which nurture me to have this kind of sense. I'm really sorry that I have this kind of sense, but it's more about the external environment. For example, from the social media, from newspapers, or from some kind of discussion during my university life. And that's why I think these kind of influence actually have bring me a lot of about some negative image of the New World development. And I think that why our strategy is very good in order to make this big change is that through our internal changes about to raise more creative talent, of course, maybe your recruitment will focus a lot on creativity. And to give this kind of branding, the fun branding, the creative branding, the innovative and artistic branding, actually we can actually change the branding regarding our position in the social media and also maybe in the newspaper, the external environment that is nurturing the young adults in the society.
Okay, and I ask you a second question. Because personally, I totally disagree with Jason about the image of a new world development. Because I come from the New World School actually. I come from mainland China, and our high school is cooperated with our Guiyang #1 high school and New World development. So I have a very good image, image of it. And for the question. Because in the K11, we see a lot of artists and exhibitions. It's very attractive. But we think there is a mismatch between the target market and the people who really go to that shopping mall. Just like, because we young people, we like that exhibition, we like that artist, so we go there, but we don't have enough money to buy that high-end brand, products. So that maybe we think there's not a very, very big, sharp change of it. Maybe we can add more elements to it. Besides the very top brands in K11, maybe we can have some, have some tests to let some mid-end shops and stores and retails to enter it and to see whether it can generate more revenue than now. If it's good, I think it's a good try. Thank you very much.
I wish to add a few comments to your presentation instead of asking you questions. You mentioned a bit about affordability of youngsters to buy flats. Of course, I agree with the gentleman here, his comment that, is it necessary for every young adult to to buy their own flats at their very early age of their life? Now, that's one question that you might need to think of. But now, on your presentation, I thought if you can really look into the industry a bit more, then it could help your understanding and your presentation. For instance, for the property industry, is it really the land price alone that affects the price of properties? What about construction costs nowadays? Everybody's, is claiming for higher wages, and wage issue is also playing a heavy part in the construction industry, and therefore influencing the property price. That's one thing. On the other hand, is it really the only solution if we cut the size of the property, or just developing smaller size properties in the new territories area? Does it really help your ability to buy? Now, according to the latest, arrangement, financial arrangement, I think the partners here, banks is really one of the very important entity who can help young people to get a home, get a flat here in Hong Kong. So I think not necessarily the property developers alone that be devil or be angel to you. We can be angels together to help young people to get their home. So be able to understand the industry's landscape is very important for your appreciation of the case in the first place. The second thing is about you're saying that the mismatching issue. I think in Hong Kong it's a little bit special because we build according to what we have. And as a listed company, we always want to build the best for the value of people who enjoy that product, as well as our shareholders. Now, for instance, if I have a piece of land in the new territories, I have to develop according to the location to generate the best interests, not necessarily the most, the maximum profit, but the best interests to the people as well as the shareholders. But for prime sites like Tsim Sha Tsui, like Peak, you do not expect me to build small, low-cost housing, right? Now, that's a sensibility issue, but that also means demographic plus segmentation. I kind of understand why you feel that developers building things not exactly matching with the young adults' taste, needs or so. But look at that from a different angle. How many people are willing to spare spaces in prime sites in Hong Kong where they can attract the most traffic to generate money, to put arts in just for appreciation of average public? Now, that's another angle of looking at that. Are we not communicating? I don't think so. But I really wish you to help me out with one question. If we are really wishing to communicate more with young adults, let me know more channels that you wish us to communicate with you. Before I let you answer my question, Jason, if you want to have a K11 card, membership card, come. We do have. Now we come to a card-led system already. We do not use cards. So come enjoy our services. And I also invite you, Jason, your team, and everybody here to join a special tour I am going to arrange for you to appreciate what New World is doing in terms of private properties as well as commercial malls to enhance your experience. Thank you very much.
Polytechnic University, we'll have to stop you there due to the regulations of the case competition. Thank you very much for your presentation.